It's the same actually with family. By the time you reach the at-one-ment state, with the eighth dimensional state, you're not actually concerned about family at all. There's no such thing as family actually at that point. So you view the whole human race as your family, just like God views all of the human race as her children. And so you then view all of the human race as your brothers and sisters, and you don't have a particular affinity to one member of that human race unless there is a strong binding force other than family that draws you together to interact. So, for example, my mother and father, Joseph and Mary, I've always had a strong connection with, but not because they're my father and mother, but rather because particularly when they hit the spirit world, they listened more to the divine love and divine truth, and they were quite passionate in the growth of it in terms of themselves, and so they were quite near where myself and Mary used to live in the spirit world, and as a result of that, you spend a lot of time with them, but it's not because they're your mum and dad. It's because they have the same desires, the same passions, and so forth. Yeah. Can we just...
Thank you very much.
No. You're interrupting the flow of people who've had the... is it about this question?
Is it related to this?
Can you hold the microphone?
I just wanted you to confirm the level that you said that happens on when you don't have a connection anymore with...
With family?
Yes.
Yep. It actually begins to occur, the connection to family, if you look at the dimensions that exist. So we start 1, 2, 3. The connection to family begins to generally fade by the time you make the transition between the second and the third dimension. And by the time, so there's 4, 5, 6, 7, by the time you're at one with God, which is the eighth dimension, you have no real concept of family that is held here on earth.
And that's the concept of preference for family, like
you don't have a preference for your children, for example.
Above anyone else. You may still be in a loving relationship with your children, but you wouldn't value that above a loving relationship with somebody else. It's purely, and your close associations are purely based on individual personality, desire, passions, and some of your children...
There is only one exception to that, and that is the relationship with your soulmate.
Exactly.
Your soulmate relationship is the most binding relationship you will ever be in, and in fact it continues to cement itself in solidity as you grow, and as a result of that, your soulmate relationship becomes the dominating relationship in your life, and all other relationships, like Mary just said, they're just based on affinity and desires and passions. Yeah. Does that make sense?